What's up guys? Today in this video we're going to go over a Nissan Skyline R33 GTR body kit for the MA020 white bodies. I found these online from GarageHiro.com. There's actually a couple other sites too that sell the body kits, but they originate from Garage Hiro, which I'd say I'm pretty late to the game because these have been out for years. And you know, I've been picking up whatever I can find because there's a lot of stuff that's out of stock, and there's only so many of the body kits left over that's out there, and there's like a few left on like RC Mart and hrcarena.com I think as well. But yeah, I picked up this one for the R33, and I'm just going to go over how you would install it onto your white body. Obviously an unpainted body shell for your MA020, or you could do this on any MR03 or MA020. I have some for each, which I'll go over in some other videos later on. But I'm just going to go over the basics on really what you got to do to prep this and how to add them onto the body. You got to glue them on, and then usually I use some putty to kind of blend the body kit to the body around the edges, so it all looks like it's factory, I guess you'd say. So yeah, I'm just gonna go over, I got this set, like version 1. It's just a front bumper, side skirts, and then some small pieces for the back bumper as well. The hood bonnet actually is a separate piece from the original body kit. This one just comes with the 5 pieces for the overall body kit. Which this is a universal hood bonnet. Usually you'd see them on an R34, but I'm actually going to put it onto this R33. And the rear mounted spoiler, I actually 3D printed myself, so you can't get that one from Garage Hiro or probably anywhere else because it's my own design. So I have different styles that I've been playing around with, and for now I'm just going to go with this one. I'll just move this out of the way. So yeah, I usually make some, bigger style GT wings. I have a couple other designs I was debating on too, but I think I'm gonna go with this one. And usually I epoxy them, and get all the little imperfections out of the way. I add some putty if I need to kind of smooth everything out, and then epoxy it and then sand it down. And then when you paint it, you wouldn't even know that it was 3D printed. And it also strengthens up the print, the 3D print, because it's pretty fragile, especially right here where I mount them. So that's just something I have to do to make sure they don't break, because if these break right here, the whole 3D print is wasted. But yeah, this R33 body is the V-spec one, because I think this body kit's only for the V-spec. If you get the Nismo version, I don't think you can use this body kit for that, and the Nismo body kit is already on there, which is pretty decent as it is, so there's no point in really putting another body kit on that body anyway. So I actually just wanted to do something different other than the stock one that you can get with the Nismo kit. So I went with Garage Hiro's body kit, and I don't know how many more of these are out there, but there's probably a couple left if you are interested, so you might want to get them before they're gone for good, because I don't think he makes these anymore. They're pretty rare, I guess you could say, and you might want to get them before they're gone. But yeah, so what I would have to do is first, I just sand around the areas where I'm going to be gluing them on, just to make sure that they get a really good bond, because I'm going to be pretty much super gluing these on with like Tamiya extra thin cement, which this stuff works pretty good at bonding the plastics together. It's basically, designed for plastic to plastic bonding. So this stuff is good compared to just like any other regular glue. I'm not really sure how many glues out there will do a good job for this, because you want to make sure once it's on there that it stays on, doesn't like pop off or whatever. So yeah, this extra thin cement I've already tried. It works really good. I used it on my R34 that I'm working on right now, which this is just the base coat, because I have another paint that's going to go over this black, which is a color shift. It's going to be purple and blue. But I already did the hood bonnet on here, and I used the putty to, smoothen out the areas around the edges of where the 3D print was, and you can't even tell that I even did that. It kind of looks like it's from factory. And same with the front bumper. I did a new front bumper compared to the stock one that comes with the V-spec. So you can see that it's different, it sticks out more, you know, just a different design. And I also put some epoxy around the front end too, just to make it stronger. So if I do crash into anything or bump into anything, it's just almost, you know, indestructible compared to how it used to be. The plastic would be a lot easier to crack, and now it's like I could hit something pretty solid and it wouldn't even, you know, make a dent on this thing now. Same with the side skirts. So I had to do the side skirts and the front bumper, and I used the Tamiya extra thin cement to glue these on. And then I used the putty to smooth out the edges so it looks pretty good. And then I painted over it, and you can't even tell that I even did that. So this is gonna get another paint, like I said, soon, and then I'll, you know, show this one off later when it's done. So this is just a base coat. And then the other R34, like I've said in my other video, I'm gonna do the Too Fast, Too Furious paint style, or paint scheme, however you wanna call it. Silver with, you know, blue stripes and then the blue decals along the side. This is pretty much the best I could come up with to mimic the, you know, the rear spoiler that was on that Skyline. And I'll epoxy this one and then paint it blue, and then probably black right here, but it's gonna match the, you know, the design that's on the body. So I'll have to put the front bumper lip, I'll try to match it the best I can from, say, the, you know, the original model, and then the side skirts, and then a little piece back here for the back bumper. Then I gotta fill that in with some putty and sand it down and then paint over it silver. So I'll do a video on this one later on. I also have a wide body kit for this one I'll do, which I've showed in some other videos as well. This one actually was pretty cheap, like it was 30 bucks roughly for the body kit, and the car body came with it. So what's nice about these body kits is that they fit almost exact. As you can see, like they're almost snap-on, but you know, I still gotta glue them and then hold them in place, which is another thing I'll talk about. Is when you glue them, you gotta use like little clips or something to hold them, make sure they set, so the glue sets, because it takes, you know, a few hours for the glue to really you know, set long enough to hold it and not fall off or break off. So I usually use like little clamps like this, or ones with some teeth if I need them. So just little metal clips that I just clip onto the, you know, side skirt or bumper or whatever to keep them in place while they dry. So that I'll do a video on that one as well. Let's see, I have to use different putties depending on what I'm doing. So I use this Mr. White putty for the black Skyline to fill in the areas around here. I use this stuff, which worked pretty good. Same with around the hood, did pretty good. If you put like a thin layer of this stuff on, it dries really fast, but if you put like a thick amount, like in a deep like hole somewhere, if it's like, you know, deep set, like I probably have to fill in these holes right here first before I put the front bumper on, just to fill it out for some more surface area for the bumper to stick to. You usually have to wait until the stuff dries, because the outer like surface of it will dry quick, while the stuff underneath that surface layer will still kind of be in liquid form, and you can kind of massage it and move it around a little bit and shape it if you need to, but it takes a while for it to dry underneath, unless you're just doing a really thin layer on the surface. So like on a flat surface, and it'll dry pretty much like in a few minutes. And it also can sometimes chip depending on where you put it, so you gotta be careful. But after you put it down and it dries, you can usually sand it, and then sand it enough to where it blends to the plastic almost, to where you can't even see like an edge or anything. So that's how I got the hood and the front bumper and everything on the R34 to look pretty good, where you can't even see there's any seams or anything. Now this stuff I'm gonna try, it's like from Testors. This got scratched off and everything, but it's like contour putty. I wanna see how this does. I'm actually gonna use it on this one to fill in these holes before I put the front bumper on. And then I'll probably end up using the Mr. White putty to kind of just blend the front bumper to the lip to the bumper and everything. So I'll end up trying both of those. And then there's another putty that I haven't really used yet, which I might have to use for shaping objects. Like if I need to add like a piece to the front bumper to kind of shape it more, I might use this stuff, which is the, I guess, Milliput. I don't know how you say it. I guess that's how you say it. And this, you have to take a piece from each one of these sticks and then, you know, roll them together, knead them together or whatever, and just, you know, do that for a few minutes to get it like really mixed together, like a small piece, whatever, or how much you need. And then you can push it in or on whatever you need it to, and then, you know, work it on that area, smooth it out. I think you have a good amount of time to at least get it shaped the way you want. And then after it dries pretty hard and solid. And it's really good for models and everything, because most of this stuff is for, you know, model kits and stuff for, you know, putting on your desk or whatever. But they also work great for these, you know, MA020 bodies, because they're, you know, they're basically model bodies too. They just don't have the interiors and all that kind of stuff. It's just, you know, for a shell. But these work just fine. It's all plastic, you know. So yeah, I just wanted to go over all this stuff before I got started. The problem with the next part of the video is I really can't talk too much when I'm putting the putty on and the glue on, because the toxic fumes from them are kind of like, you know, it's hard to, you really should be breathing them in, and it can make you kind of nauseous if you inhale them for too long or something. I don't mess around with that, so I have to wear a mask while I'm, you know, putting the putty on and gluing the pieces on. So I'll probably, you know, do a clip of me gluing and puttying like 1 or 2 parts, and then that's about it. I won't do the entire thing because it'll just drag out the video even longer, because you get the idea. Once I do one side or whatever, it's the same process for the, you know, the whole thing all the way around. So that's what I'll end up doing. I also have some other bodies, like I said, for MR03s that I do. I got body kits for my P1 GTR and my 12C GT3. And also I have the R35 and the Supra as well. I have body kits for these, like body kit all the way around, and the fenders. This one doesn't have the fenders, the wide body kit. It's just the front bumper and side skirts, so it's pretty basic and simple. So I figured I'd do that video first. And then the Supra as well has side fenders, side skirts, everything. So I'll do a video for each one of these car bodies, and I'll probably won't have to cover as much as what I'm talking about now, because this is my first video on explaining what I'm doing with these car bodies. So I'll try to, you know, minimize the amount of stuff I'm covering in those videos, since I'm covering most of it right now on the R33 body. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy. I'm gonna start going on this body and getting to work, so just bear with me, and thank you for your time. Before I put my mask on, I also forgot to mention that I use these little sanding pads to do the sanding I need. They're really nice. Get them off Amazon. They're like sponges with a little bit of sandpaper on them with, you know, different grits. So these are really nice, because I used to use just a piece of paper, and that was a pain in the ass. So, you know, definitely tears up your fingers. This is much easier to use, and it's easier on your hands. So this stuff is really flexible. You know, it's nice spongy stuff, and you can use them wet or dry. Usually I use them wet, but yeah, these are great if you are going to be doing any kind of sanding for before painting and sanding, to get, you know, the body kits on there so they have a good bond, so, you know, plastic to plastic. And then also just give a little close up to some of these parts. I also had to do a little bit of trimming on them because they were a little bit too long. So I had to trim them down with a razor knife. And then I also kind of trimmed this down a little lower. It was higher up, but I went a little bit too far, to be honest, but it's not gonna matter because the putty will fill in the gaps and everything. Anywhere that you mess up, it's not a big deal if you really mess up anywhere, because you can fill in areas with putty that you may have messed up with. So it's no big deal. But yeah, I was just using a razor blade, scraping away some of the I guess extra resin, because I think this is a resin 3D print that was left over. You know, just cleaning it up, getting it prepped and ready to apply to the body. So there's that. The hood bonnet. So, yep. Side skirts, pretty good. Everything is like spot on usually with the fitment. I did have to, you know, like I said, use a razor to cut a little bit off on the ends because it was just a little bit too long. So I did that, and it's pretty much right where it needs to be now before I glue it. And same with the little back bumper pieces. They were a little bit too long, so I had to trim those as well. So there's a little bit of prep work you got to do before you, you know, put these on. You can glue them on first and then take a razor and kind of scrape away the material that's like hanging over, because it was hanging over like probably about that much before, but I did it before I, you know, decided to glue it on, obviously, as you can see. You gotta be careful though, because if you cut too far, you know, you really can't, you know, fix that, even though you can use putty to, you know, fix some of your mistakes, but if you mess this up too much, you might not be able to recover it with putty. So just be careful when you're using a razor knife, and, you know, don't slice your fingers open or anything either. So just wanted to cover that. So yeah, the next part, I'm probably gonna have to put the mask on and then, you know, do the rest of it quietly. I'll just have to play music or something while I'm putting the putty and glue on here. So just hang on while I get this started. And And just like that, the job is done. So I didn't want to record gluing each piece on because it's the same process, you know, all the way around. So there's really no point in doing that. It would just drag this video out even longer. And I'm trying to shorten it up as much as I can. The front bumper and the hood were a little bit more of a tedious process because I had to add putty to kind of help mold the pieces to the body better. So yeah, that was a little bit longer of a process to do. So I'm sorry I couldn't really put that on tape. I might do that process on another video because I have other bodies I'm going to do, and I'm going to have to use putty again. So for this video though, it's already dragged out a lot, so I didn't want to have to add more time to it. Mr. Putty, or Mr. White Putty I should say, is what I use to do like around the hood here, and you can see, you know, it gets pretty smooth. Get a good light on it. But yeah, I had to sand it down after I put it on to really get it nice and smooth to where it like blends in with the body. And I mean, I still have a little bit of touch-up work to do, but this is basically, you know, almost the final product before I get ready to paint it. I'm probably going to put some epoxy on the front lip here as well, just to strengthen it up. So if I crash into anything, you know, nothing will break. So I'm also going to have to do that before I paint it, especially with the rear spoiler needs to get epoxy too. So epoxy resin for that and there, and then it'll be ready to get painted. I'll probably do this one gunmetal. So I think I'm going to use TS38 gunmetal Tamiya, you know, paint. I usually paint everything with cans. I don't have an airbrush or anything, which I mean, I probably should invest in one, but I usually just go the old school, you know, rattle can method, which sometimes they come out really good. Sometimes it's like, you know, kind of iffy, but you know, it is what it is. I can always fix stuff that doesn't come out very good. I can always, you know, do some sanding and then paint over it again. I've also stripped some paint jobs I've done before and just used like 91% alcohol to get the old paint off, and then just sand it again and then repaint it a different color. So it's really not hard to, you know, change colors if you ever, you know, mess up or want to redo it or whatever. So yeah, the Mr. White Putty is definitely good for this kind of stuff, to where I would just kind of mold it around it and then let it dry a little bit and then start just working it with my fingers. It can get kind of sticky, so it'll kind of stick to your fingertips here and there. So you gotta try to work it without getting it too messy all over the place. Compared to the Testors, which this stuff I feel is better for filling in like deep holes like I was doing in the beginning of the video, and then coming up and then finishing on the surface with this stuff, because this is, I think, better for when it comes to shaping and then sanding it smooth after it dries. Seems like this stuff does pretty good. So together they seem to work well, you know, like the Testors for underneath, and then the white putty, Mr. White Putty on the very surface, and then sanding it as smooth as I can to, you know, blend in with the body. So that's the method I used. I didn't actually try the Testors stuff yet until this body, so you know, this is my first time using this one, while I have used the Mr. White Putty on the R34 Skyline, which is what, you know, I ended up doing the same thing basically on the hood like I did on that one. And you know, so far I like the results. I was gonna maybe do this video to where I showed the final product of this R33 with you know, how it looks after it's painted, but I would probably it'd probably drag this video out way too long, because I also have to add the headlights and taillights and like the digital underglow. So I got headlights and then of course the taillights and stuff to do. So that'll take, I don't know, that might take me another, you know, couple weeks until I get around to doing that. So I'll just probably end up making this video of just the process of before and after gluing on the body kit, and you know, doing some of the putty on it and everything, and then I'll show the final product of this guy after it's done being painted and with the lights added to it, you know, later on. I will do some more videos too of each body that needs to get body kits and then get painted as well. Like I do have P1 GTR that I have to put a full body kit on. It's actually a wide body kit, so it's got fenders and everything. It used to be a different color. I had like a purple and green color shift on here, but I really wasn't a fan of it. It didn't come out as good as like my other color shifts. So I had to, give this thing an alcohol bath and then sand off a lot of the old paint. And then it's because it uses a black base coat and then you put the color shift over that. So I left, a good amount of the black in the crevices that are really hard to get the paint into anyway. So when I do go back over this with black paint, it'll be easy to do without having to worry about getting it in these deep little crevices, because that's the hardest part. Is I don't want to put too much paint trying to get in those little areas. But you do want to make sure that wherever you are going to glue your body kit on, that it is clear of paint and sanded down, so it's nice rough surface for the glue to really adhere to the surface. So that's why I made sure I kind of sand it around the areas where the body kit's going to go. And then, you could have like a little bit of paint, but you really should get most of the paint out of the way before you do glue these parts on, because it's like a plastic to plastic, and paint being in the way will not help the glue adhere to the plastic like it should. So if you do, have a painted body and you want to put like the body kit on or whatever, you really do need to get rid of pretty much all the paint around where you're going to glue the body kit to. So this one will probably get another color shift, so I'll have to repaint this one black. And then I don't know what color I'm gonna do yet. I might do the turquoise blue and blue color shift, so I'll figure that out. Let's see, what else am I forgetting? But yeah, that's basically all you have to do if you want to add a body kit to one of these little white bodies. It's really not hard. Like I said, on some of the other bodies I'm gonna do, I have fenders and stuff to do, so I'll show those once I do those videos. This is a much more basic and easier body kit to put on. The side skirts were really easy. You saw how I did that. Same with the little back pieces. I just put a little clip on here, let them dry, and then once they're done drying, it only takes a few hours for it to really dry, but probably wait a full day for it to really cure before you start really messing with it too much. And then go back over and sand everything. I also used a razor knife to kind of scrape along these edges here, focus, to really kind of, because it was kind of square. This focus sucks. Hold on. It was kind of squared off, so I kind of would just rub until it kind of curved, and then it almost blends in with the body. So this material is pretty easy to work with when you use a razor knife. Same with the edges around the wheel wells and stuff. I just kind of worked everything just to kind of make it look a little bit smoother and more, like it's part of the body kit and not too square. So I think everything came out pretty good. And then also the putty is good to fill in little holes, like for the actual spoiler that came with the stock car. I filled those 3 holes in with the putty and then just sanded over the top of it. So, once I paint it, you won't even know those are there. I'll probably do that with these holes too, because I don't think I'm gonna put the license plate in the front. I really don't have any stickers or anything to put on it, so there's no real point of having it. So I'll probably just leave that off and fill those holes in. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I got obviously more content coming. I'll do my bodies for my MR03s, but I am making those bodies for one of my WLToys K969, like wide body drift setup, so I can put those MR03 bodies onto that drift body. And I'll show that in later videos. And of course I got a bunch of other 94mm bodies for my Mini Z MA020 that I'll have to put body kits on and finish painting and stuff. So thank you for your time, and I will see you guys in the next one.